DeMeco, what's been your coaching points here through, 4 practices?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing coaching point-wise is just guys just have to get better each day. The biggest thing for me is guys just focusing on one day at a time. If you go out and do your best at one day, that's great. Now put that away, go stack the next day. How can you get just a little bit better on the next day? So that's been the focal point throughout these first 4 days is just wherever you were yesterday, can you get a little bit better the next day? And guys have been honing in on that and doing pretty well.
When Fred Warner's intercepting Jimmy Garoppolo on a short throw, is that a play he would have made a few years ago? Is that something he instinctually knows coming, or he knows the script that's coming?
Yeah, no, Fred, he's reading Jimmy's eyes, and he's been doing a really good job of his zone drops. Fred's the guy, he drops in zone coverage, does a really good job of being patient, staying square, eyes on the quarterback, and he really did a great job of reading Jimmy there, breaking on the ball, and Fred has been working on his hands throughout the offseason, so it's paying off for him. So happy to see him get that pick, and you can tell everyone's excited on the sidelines for him. But Fred is a guy I look to make those type of plays, those impact, game-changing plays. Those are plays that Fred can make. He's done them in the past, and just expect him to even do it more as he continues to develop his career.
I know a lot of players have been coming in and filling in for Javon Kinlaw, but Kentavious Street seems to be one of those guys that consistently gets snaps with the ones. What have you seen from him? Is he off to a good start in training camp?
Yeah, I think Street is having a really good start. These first couple of days, Street he's been very consistent. Day in and day out, you know what you're going to get. He's been consistent in the backfield, disrupting run plays, also being able to react quicker on the pass plays. I think this is the first year for Street that he really hasn't had to be concerned about rehabbing or focused on an injury, right? So he's had this offseason to really work his tail off to really put together a good training camp, and he's off to a really great start. I'm excited to see how Street will do in the preseason games and moving forward, but I really like the way he's worked over the first couple of days here, and just the consistency is something you look for in a guy. You stepping in for Kinlaw, and he's been very consistent. I'm happy with what he's done.
This was the first time, in this camp at least, that we've seen Trey Lance take off running, including some design stuff. How beneficial for your defense can it be to have a guy like that who brings that to the table and see it in practice more?
Yeah, I think, I'm very appreciative for our offense when they put those plays in, the zone read type plays, QB movement runs. It's very helpful for us as a defense. So when we do face teams like that during the season, it's not the first time that we're preparing for it, right? So we have a chance to go through it, to learn. Our guys get a chance to learn actually how to defend it versus different defenses. So it's really, really great work for us. And Trey does, like you said, he broke out today on a couple. He's doing an excellent job of running those plays as well. So it's good work on both sides, iron sharpening iron.
When you guys put together the practice plan, do you communicate with the offense and ask them to do certain things to test you guys and vice versa? Yeah,
it goes back and forth. We all service each other, making sure our guys are, as we're scripting practice and getting ready for practice, we want to make sure our guys are getting a ton of different looks. And that's the thing, not just, same guys getting the same type of plays. We want guys to see different looks, see different run plays, how to fit those runs, see different pass plays versus different coverages, so we understand as a defense, how we're getting attacked, and guys can see how different coverages fit plays differently. So it's really Mike, McDaniel, and Slowik. They do a great job of scripting offensively, working together with myself.
And when obviously you haven't watched the film of this practice, but just what you could tell with your eyes, how much does he stress a defense from that standpoint?
Yeah, they put a lot of stress on us today. We put in a little different coverage today. They put a lot of stress on that coverage, and it allows our guys to go back and study the film and see, where can we get better, where can we improve. But it's good work for the offense, and it's also good work for the defense.
From an evaluation standpoint, how excited are you to have the pads come on I guess, Monday?
Yeah, that's real football. When you put the pads on, we have to go through this, per the NFL, you have to go through the acclimation period through the first couple of days to make sure guys are getting their legs under them, making sure everyone is healthy moving in before you put the pads on. But, for me, pads is everything. That's how you really can evaluate talent, right? You put the pads on. That's how the game is played. So you see who's going to rise up and who's going down when you put those pads on. So it really, when you put the pads on, it separates guys. So you can see guys who flash and look good in shorts, but who can step up and do it in pads, and that's when it really counts. And that goes in practice, and it goes into the games as well. How are these guys performing when the lights are on?
What's your level of concern with Javon Kinlaw not getting in team drills just yet, just given, how much you would like to see him take a leap forward in the second season?
Yeah, Kinlaw has been doing a great job on the side, working with our medical staff. He's getting in the individual, doing some drills there. So his ease back into play is going really well. And over the next few days, we'll see him get into practice, but I'm in no rush to rush him back. And when he's healthy and he's ready to come back, that'll be the medical staff will determine that time. But I'm not worried about Kinlaw at all. He's been doing everything that we asked him. Kinlaw is a guy who's been here probably the most during the offseason, just training, working on his body, getting where he needs to be. So I'm not worried about Kinlaw at all. He's going to be fine for us.
It looked like Arden Key forced a fumble in the backfield. What are you seeing from him early on in camp?
Yeah, Arden Key, another guy we added, he's doing a really good job. Key has been very effective rushing the passers. Watching practice, he's always around the quarterback. That's one thing about him. He has a really nice knack, nice feel for rushing the passer, and he's a long guy who can run, can bend really well. And, you see today he scooped up a fumble, ran it back for a touchdown. So he's a guy who can make plays for us. So I'm excited. So as we put on the pads and get in the games, I'm excited to see, where he fits in our scheme and where he can help us.
Seems like there's a healthy rivalry between Debo and Brandon Ayuk and Verrett, Jimmy Ward, K'Wan Williams. Have you seen them really kind of elevate each other's play throughout the 4 days?
Yeah, it's really great watching our receivers, watching Debo and Ayuk work with Verrett, all right, K1, Jimmy. Those guys work together to help each other, and they're always challenging each other and pushing each other, and that's how you become better as a team. That's that true brotherhood where guys we're competing, but we're also helping each other. Hey, you can run this route a little bit better here. Hey, this will coverage where you can do this a little bit better. So that's iron sharpening iron, and that's what we have. We have really great guys, and that's a great example of our team. Just wide receivers and DBs, they're competing every day. When the ball is snapped, they're competing every day, but they're also cordial off the field. They know how to work together, and they have fun with each other. So it's good to see that chemistry, good to see those guys work together the way they do.
It's been pretty evident Fred Warner's impact, not just in the past seasons. At the start of camp, he's pretty much everywhere. Do you think he's changing sort of the mold of what a linebacker is with what he does on the field?
I think the way the game is changing with a lot more passing, a lot of spread offenses, ball is, it's a lot of running involved now with the linebacker. So there's no more, 250-pound big linebackers running downhill. You have to be able to be athletic. You have to be fast. You have to be able to cover backs, covers tight ends. And that's what Fred does. He fits the mold of the new age linebacker, where I said before he can do it all. And I think that's where the game is going, and those are the type of linebackers that we look for our scheme.
What do you think of the pass rush today? Just because it seemed like outside of Warner had a free run through, but the quarterbacks had all day to throw, it seemed like. So how would you evaluate the pass rush?
Yeah, you evaluate pass rush and training camp. Again, we don't want to get too close to our quarterbacks. So the pass rush has been consistent. It's been good all throughout training camp, and guys have done a great job of just protecting themselves, protecting our quarterbacks, and easing up when it's time to ease up. So overall, pass rush has been consistent, and I'm very pleased with it.
It seems like this is a really good environment for Samson to kind of flourish. He seems to be working well against Trent Williams and other kind of rivalry.
Right, yeah. I mean, for our ends, Samson, Arden, all those guys, for them to be able to go against, Trent Williams, Mike McGlinchey, it's the best work they can have. And Samson has been very active. He never stops rushing. He's always pushing the pocket forward. Samson has done a really good job. And I know it's just, again, I talk about the iron sharpening iron, as he's getting to go against an all-pro tackle every day in practice. So that's only going to elevate his game and make him better. Trent Williams is probably one of the best tackles to play the game. So for Samson and all of our guys to get the work versus Trent, it's it's just great work. I would say that. It's just hard to explain. You don't get to go against guys like that all the time. So it's just really good to see Samson be effective also versus Trent, and not Trent always getting the best of him. So it's good to see a good, back and forth there as well.
You talked about it a little bit with Trey running some option stuff and how much that'll help. That's been one of the few things that seems to have really, bothered the defense the last couple of years. Just how much of a difference do you think it makes having him do that as opposed to trying to, have Richie James or a wide receiver run the option in practice?
Yeah, with the option plays, zone read type plays, is as much as you can get a realistic look of it, the better it is. So I think for us, getting a great look from Trey, very dynamic runner and thrower, he can do it all. So for us to get a great look from him, it's the best thing we can ask for a defense. And we don't have to try to manufacture it by putting a wide receiver at cornerback or a running back there and trying to do the old Wildcat stuff. Like, we get a real live look at a very bona fide quarterback who's capable of running all those plays. So I'm thankful for our offense for running those plays to give us the work.
Just confirming, it was a routine maintenance day for Dre Greenlaw today?
Say that again?
Was it a routine maintenance day for Dre Greenlaw?
Yeah, I think Dre had just a little issue with his foot, but overall, Dre will be fine. Nothing to concern there.
Verrett had a big day. He had a broke up a pass, and he obviously had the interception. Do you think if it gets there, you would maybe let him travel with receivers?
Whatever, man. That's whatever we need to do defensively to win a game. That'll go with our weekly defensive scheme, whatever we need to do. JV is very capable of doing that. That's the type of skill set he has to go match the number one receiver every week. Are we going to do that every week? No. Our game plan will vary, and we'll do whatever we need to do that particular week to get the win.
Have you ever been on a team, either coaching or as a player, where the energy coming from that defensive line corner that Casaric brings is as palpable as it is with this one?
No, never seen energy like that. It's close in Houston with Bill Kolar. He's a really good D-line coach that we had in Houston, but nothing like Coach Casaric. His consistent energy day in and day out, and it's not just the energy with him, it's also just the detail that he has in his teaching approach and the love that he has for his guys. He is all D-line all the time and making sure those guys are getting everything they need. He brings it every day. And that's one thing I love about him. It's never an up and down day with Casaric. It's consistent energy day in, day out. And then you add in Darryl Tapp. He's another ball of energy. He brings it. He's similar to Coach Casaric. They both are very high, energetic guys, and they get their guys to play hard each and every down. And that's all you can ask for a defensive line coach. He's done a fantastic job, and I'm very happy to have him on my staff. He's just a great asset and just a great mind, great teacher. All right. Thank you, guys.
So what kind of feedback you've been getting from the coaches so far at camp?
So far, positive. Continue to do what I'm doing, stay confident, and don't let my foot off the gas pedal.
How difficult through the years has it been to just kind of stay confident when you really haven't had that opportunity to show what you can do?
I think that's been the biggest thing so far this camp. Just being confident and just really trusting myself. Because this offseason I really had a long time to really figure out what I can do, what I can't do. What my limitations are, and just continue to push myself day to day.
How important is this camp for you in terms of proving that, hey, I can do this and stick around?
It's major. I really like my mindset going into each practice is just to prove I belong and prove to myself that I'm the baddest man on the field. So that's my mindset every play.
Have you done that yet? Have you proved it to yourself?
I feel like I'm taking steps towards it. Honestly, I don't feel like I'll ever prove that to myself till I'm done playing football. That's just my mindset.
A lot of other players that have gone through rehab have talked about how much of a relief it is to just work on football instead of rehabbing. Talk to us about that. It's
a huge thing because injuries, especially at ACL, it can not only take a physical toll, but it can take an emotional, a mental toll. Like it really reaches into so many spectrums of your life, and just to get over that hurdle and be able to focus on what you love, it's a really peace-bringing opportunity that you have. At least for me, it took me 3 years to get it, so I'm really savoring it.
How'd you get it? How'd you get that piece?
How'd I get that piece? Just working. We have a really great staff here with Dustin Perry and all the guys. So just being able to work with them and, stack those days in the off season, it's really been great.
Have you been working at three technique more exclusively this year than you have in other camps?
Yeah. So far, this year's probably been all inside compared to the last few camps where I'd be inside, outside. 2019, I was mostly outside, a little bit of sprinkle of inside.
Noticing that it might be easier for you to maybe get a little bit more comfortable in a rhythm because you are just staying inside most of the time?
Yes, definitely.
You're kind of legendary for weight room stuff, 700-pound squat, all that stuff. Where are you with that? Is that still something that you challenge yourself with, or do you, what do you do?
Personally, I just do a bunch of single leg movements now. It's not so much focused on the weight amount anymore. It's just making sure I can get the full range of motion, be explosive with it, and move it fast.
Is that something that you've just kind of developed that you hope will, keep you healthy, make you a better player, do the skills that are more applicable to what you do?
Exactly. Just doing the D-line movements, the get off, bending the edge, just being able to replicate those movements in the weight room as many times as possible and as fast as possible.
Would you say Daryl Tapp and Coach Casaric have helped you sort of keep that mentality?
They've been amazing. Honestly, throughout this whole process, even before Tapp got here, Coach Casaric's been just put me under his wing and just always told me, like, Street, you belong here. You have all the tools you need to be a great player in this league and on this defense. And, that's been insurmountable for me, especially those times where I get put on IR or I have a minor setback. He's just always been there for me, So he's definitely someone, without him being here, I don't know if I've been able to get through it.
We only see the kind of yelling side of him.
Yeah.
That's in the, on the field when you're doing drills. What is he like one-on-one?
He is, if I could, imagine a teddy bear with like spikes on it. That's Chris Casaric. Like the yelling, the cussing, the crazy amounts of energy that's just him on the field because he really wants the best out of all his guys. You could be Eric Armstead, perennial All-Pro, and you could be an undrafted free agent that just made it onto the team. He's going to treat you the same, and he's just a great person, and that's just how he shows his passion and his love.
Were you still last year dealing with the same, feeling the effects of that same knee injury that you suffered just before the draft, or is it different stuff?
Honestly, last year, it was just the knee so much wasn't bothering me. It was just a filling out process. This season going into OTAs, Chris said we're going to treat that last season like my rookie year. Because I was learning things like my first full season. So I was very hesitant. Confidence was up and down some days, and I think it just showed with my play sometimes. So this year I'm hoping to have all that past me and just continue to stack days. Thanks, man.
I asked you about going up against the Framers offensive linemen. Like, what are you able to do? Are you able to communicate with them and kind of work things out, and they challenge you and you challenge them? What can you get from that interaction?
You know, Laken Tomlinson's been amazing this camp, you know, just for as much as just bringing everything out of me. You know, he's very aggressive. He's a very witty offensive lineman, so he can spot little things you do in your stance that shows tendencies. So, you know, just being able to change up what I'm giving him, the looks that he's showing me, and just being able to just bounce ideas off each other has been really good this camp. He's really challenging me. Yeah, no problem.
To Josh Peterson to kind of get him out there to do a little bit more rookie hype machine?
You know what? I was a little disappointed with Josh's efforts today. I think just going to the YMCA and not really getting involved, I think we need a little bit more energy with that. I thought the first 2 days of the rookie hype were okay. Trey was a little indecisive, a little off on his timing. But Banks did okay with the snappy fingers dance. He showed he still has a little giddy up in him from his Notre Dame college party days, you know, so he's doing okay. But
Your evaluation feels a little biased, Mike.
no, at least Banks was on time. He was on time. He was in the crowd or close by. I guess the rules have been a little different. So, but he was there. He was in the front. Everybody saw him. You know, Peterson didn't even get a chance to get everybody up and dance with the YMCA with him either. So we'll have to reevaluate, get him back in. You know, we got a lot of open practices this year, and we'll make sure the rookies that have not done well get another chance.
Interesting analysis. You haven't broke down the film yet, but you're able to see that.
Oh, we actually do break down the film. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We have it. We have our video guys film it. We go. We haven't brought it up in a team meeting yet, but we did the O-line meeting. You know, we watched the film. We give him a grade, whether or not he passed or not, if he has to do it again, for sure. Banks did. Yep. But it's not the tight ends and the quarterbacks aren't in my room, so I'll leave it up to the vets in those rooms. Kyle did in the team meeting. Yeah, so I remember I was actually the founding member of the rookie hype machine because Mike Person decided it would be a good idea for open practices, and then Staley obviously egged that one on, and so I actually had to do it like 3 or 4 times that year. So got a lot of experience with it. I'm the go-to guy, go-to clips on the team of the teach tape. So I'm proud of that.
Mike, let's get right to it.
Okay.
We mess around enough. What is your weight?
I'm sitting between 315 and 320 right now. Yeah. Fluctuates on the day, but it's obviously training camp, so it'll go up and down depending on how hard the practice is or how hot it is outside. But yeah, I'm sitting comfortably between 315 and 320.
Yeah, is that not, I forget the numbers from last year, and we know about all the discussion last year, but I mean, is that a big difference, or is it differently proportioned?
It's about I want to say like 25 pounds heavier than last year. COVID was tough on me. It was tough on the resources. It was tough on getting into gyms. It was tough on making sure that stays up. And I thought I was feeling really good. I felt really healthy at the weight I was at. I was moving a lot faster for our run game and had a great year with that. But obviously some things happened where I was guarding too much of a bull rush. And even if I wasn't getting bulled, I was stopping my feet too much in preparation for the bull. And it's just something that's given me a little bit more mental confidence. It's something that I worked hard with Dustin Perry and our strength staff and all that. And definitely feeling good. My body definitely feels it after the first week. It's been good. I feel comfortable. But definitely have to get my feet underneath me a little bit and get used to it. But I think I've done a good job for the first week.
Do you feel the difference in pass protection?
Well, not to the full extent yet. We don't have pads on, so I haven't felt a true, head-on bull rush yet. But I anticipate it helping a great deal. I hope, obviously I'm not a guy that stays naturally big, and I have to work pretty hard to keep that stuff on. I'm a tall guy, so it's a matter, on top of the body weight, it's more technique than anything, and it always will be. That extra body weight just gives you an extra chance to recover on that stuff.
Like 25 pounds.
Yeah.
Like, how the heck did you do
Well, I have a really great relationship with Dustin Perry. He and I are super, super close. I'm one of the few guys that lives here full time in the Bay, and so I'm with him every day from the time we break in January to the time we come together in April. And Jordan Mazer, our dietitian, and I came up with a great plan. I eat a lot. I drink a lot of those shakes and all that, and do what I can to keep my weight up and feel good, and obviously, come up with a plan to work out probably 6 days a week from January to April, and then when you start playing football, you got to find your spots here and there. But no, it was a great off season. I worked really hard at it, dedicated a lot of stuff to it. I'm proud of it. I'm proud of the way that we worked as a with my staff, and I'm ready to get the ball rolling.
How many meals a day? What are you eating?
So, I mean, I don't have a set number. I just make sure the timing of it. If I don't let myself go more than 2 hours or 3 hours on, without eating, without making sure I have something to go down, and not as conscious of eating the healthiest of healthy foods to make sure I have a little bit of that weight on me. And so I'm a guy, like I said, I'm a guy that can go the other way pretty fast. One day I hope to look like Joe Staley in retirement, but those days are hopefully a long way away, and I'm going to have to keep this weight up as long as I can.
Will it really be a case where you'll begin a practice at 320 and then you'll weigh yourself?
Oh yeah, I'm somewhere between 10 and 15 pounds of practice probably. Just water weight and size. I sweat like crazy, so that's just really just water weight, and that comes back fast. You just got to keep pounding the Gatorade and water and all that. So, but yeah, it comes back real fast. And normally you come into a training camp and you probably lose about 5, and then settle in when the real season starts, when you're not going 40 to 50 snaps an individual, and then another 40 and 50 on top and team.
Obviously, the pads aren't on yet, but mobility-wise, that's obviously been one of your big strengths. Do you feel that that's been kept intact?
Yeah, I made sure that it was made clear by my coaching staff that no matter what we do in the off season and how much weight I put on, it will not happen if I lose what I'm really good at. So I feel very confident in my game right now. I'm very excited to get it going, excited to put the pads on next week to test it out and play some real football. And obviously we got some of the best D linemen to do it against. So the more that we get reps at it, the more confident I'll become. But I'm in a really good spot right now.
What's been your early impression of Samson Ebcom?
Well, I'm very familiar with Samson. I've played him, I think it was 6 times over the last 3 years, and he's a player that he plays so hard. He's a relentless player, always has been, and he's been the same since he's gotten here. He just constantly works. He plays. He's fast. He's strong. Sets the edge well in our scheme. And obviously, I think he has a perfect coach in Chris Casaric to help him continue to grow his game. The way that he's been able to have success in this camp has been impressive, and he's going to be a big part of what we do moving forward. And obviously, when we can continue to get even more of our dogs back on the edges, it's just going to be a lot of fun to, watch other people go deal with that and not me anymore.
How stoked are you to, face Bosa again?
Getting our warm-ups in until he's ready to go, So that's what Dustin Perry and I were actually joking this morning. I think the offensive tackles right now are on the maintenance program until he gets back. So everybody's talking about Nick's maintenance, but we're just getting our warm-up in until he gets back, because 97 can bring it. He's the best, arguably one of the best in the league to do it, and very excited to get him back, and very excited to, get some work against him, because, that we've been saying it for years around here, but iron sharpens iron. So can't wait to get Nick back and get him on the field and playing football.
How does Mack fit in the offensive line room? Is he a leader already? Is he the new guy? What's he like?
Alex has been great. Yeah, I mean, he's a leader. He's a guy that's been around for 13 or 14 years, and arguably the best center of our generation. And he's played in this offense for a long time. He played with Kyle in Cleveland, played with him in Atlanta, had unbelievable success there, and is a guy that can really, really do a lot of things for us and connect us all on the same page, talk through details in a meeting room, anything that, he sees out there, he's willing to vocalize and help out with anything. And I think the coolest part about what Alex has done is, you get a lot of old guys that don't necessarily take the time to help out everything else that's going on. But Alex takes a lot of pride in being a leader of our O-line, and being a leader of our football team. Takes young guys, no matter who you are, what your roster spot is, how old you are. He takes you under his wing. He never hesitates to give you a coaching point. is unbelievably smart as he is gifted as a football player. And I think Alex is going to be a huge addition for us, for sure.
You were able to kind of let your diet go to hell. What is the one like food that you're like, oh gosh, this is awesome?
There's a lot of them. I definitely don't think that I have one specific meal that I'm just like always gung-ho about. But I always, when I go home, my dad always, there's like pork roll. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of it from the Jersey Shore. My dad, every morning when we wake up on the weekends, when I go back home to the Jersey Shore, I always have a couple pork roll, egg, and cheeses waiting for me from either, nursing a hangover from the night before or just, waking up before we go to church. So those are my favorites, and not having to worry about just eating one of them is definitely a good thing. Yeah. So it's like it goes back and forth between being called pork roll and Taylor ham. It's like a tri-state area of New York, Pennsylvania, and Jersey. And so I'm from Philadelphia. It's a huge thing there, but my family goes down to the Jersey Shore every summer, and it's even bigger down there. So no, it's more of like I want to say like a tangy ham, but it's hard to describe. It's just a big process. It's like a 6-pound different type of flavored hot dog is really all it is. Yeah. Yeah, any kind of bagel's good with me, man. Yeah, normally we just go with plain because we got a lot of picky eaters in my family house.
Like, you do seem lighter in terms of sense of humor and having fun. Is that something you're feeling so far in training camp? Is it something you're feeling in the locker room?
It's something that I've worked on. I think the most frustrating part of my season last year was the way that I handled it mentally. I don't think I did my job in that regard. I didn't let myself, overcome mistakes. I didn't let myself overcome the trials and tribulations of what we were going through as a team. I was putting a lot of pressure on myself, and it got in the way of me being able to do my job at a high level. And it just kind of kept weighing on me as the season went on. And obviously, when you're in solitary confinement for 8 weeks down in Arizona, it doesn't help either. But that was a big focal point this offseason. I had to get my head right, and I feel as though that I did that, and I'm excited to be able to do that and continue to grow in that regard and challenge myself every day to get better and not let myself slip back into old habits. And it's definitely something that I've worked on. But it's easy. It's easy to do that here. We have a great team, a great staff. It's a fun place to come to work, and I lost sight of that, and I never will again. And that's what's cool about it.
One or anything that helped you go through that process?
Yeah, actually, I worked closely with a man named Darren McMains this offseason, who has been a huge part of my process. He and I have grown very, very tight. We meet, whenever we can now that the season started, but we met once a week in the off season, and he's done an unbelievable job of helping me find perspective, find focus, find where things go. And everybody always tells you, the thing that separates you is your mind when you get to this level, but you don't believe them until things get hard. And then I looked in the mirror and you evaluate that and you look at this yourself and you say, you know what? The only thing that I'm letting myself not be successful because of, or the thing that's holding me back, is because I'm not okay with my process, with the way that I'm focusing on my job, with all of that. And so Darren's done a great job with me and helped me in a big way, and I'm very thankful for that friendship that we have, and it's been really cool.
Thinking back to March when, there were rumors in February about the team looking at other quarterbacks aside from Jimmy. I know you've been one of Jimmy's staunchest supporters, but in a situation like that, do you reach out to Jimmy? Do you talk to him? And what's the balance of being a teammate and being loyal to a guy you care about, but also understanding the business of what the NFL is?
Yeah, I don't think I really needed too much. Jimmy's handled this whole thing with grace, with unbelievable humility, and as a leader should. He's just come in and worked harder. He's come in and played better. He's come in and led our team even more. And no matter what happens, it is, like you said, it is a business. The 49ers have to do what they think is best for the 49ers now and in the future. And Jimmy has proven time and time again that when he is on the field, he's our guy, and he's the guy that will continue to lead us to win football games. And there's nobody in this building that doesn't believe that. But you've seen what has happened to our football team in the years past, in these last 3 years, and injuries come up and they happen, and you have to have, contingency plans to help out, and so the season doesn't get derailed. And I think that, the depth that we have at that position now is a confidence builder for not only us, but for Kyle and John and the rest of this football team. But Jimmy has handled this whole thing unbelievably well. You don't really even need to check in on him because he just continues to do it and do it well and do it with grace. And obviously you do because he's a friend and you talk to him throughout the offseason, check in and see how everything's going. But the more I did, the more I realized that it was, there was no need. He just has continued to kill it, and that's been the most impressive thing, and something that anybody in this whole sport can learn from is how to do things the right way.
It seems like last year was the toughest year of your life in a lot of ways. Do you feel like you're better for it?
Yeah, I would say so. I think anything that makes that pressure is a privilege, and that's something that I've worked very hard on, and something that I took for granted. And when things are hard, you gotta appreciate it. You gotta be able to sit in and understand that it's hard because of where you're at and where you've gone in your life and where you want to continue to go. And that's what's cool about this whole thing, and that the league and NFL and football in general, it always tests you. And it's a matter of how you respond to the test, and how, when you, as an offensive lineman, part of your life's getting beat. And you got to learn how to get beat and get better from it and learn from it and make sure it doesn't happen again. And I'm looking forward to putting that to the test.
Michael, I understand you're supportive of Jimmy and everything. Is there a part of you, too, that sees a practice like today, it sees Trey Lance's dual threat and goes, wow, this could be something?
Yeah, I don't really put too much stock in thinking about the future or the planning of our offense. That's not in my job. But Trey's an impressive dude, man. Not only on the field, but off the field, he's come in and done a great job of getting to know our guys in the locker room and stepping up and handling everything that's thrown at him. But yeah, he's a specimen. He rips the ball out there. Obviously, it's been funny because we've all been kind of waiting for it. We've been waiting to see when he does take off, how it goes. And I think we ran like 3 or 4 read zones, which is probably 3 or 4 more than we've ever done in my 4 years here. But it's exciting. Trey's an exciting football player. He's an exciting guy, an unbelievable guy in our locker room. And, we're lucky to have him here. And it's only going to continue to push people to be better. He's only going to do the same thing. And the sky's the limit for our football team with both him and Jimmy here.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, guys.
Any questions?
On the off season for you, are there specific things you did, in training or anything you worked on specifically?
All season was great. My daughter was born, so that was amazing. Being able to be with her. Me and my wife timed it out pretty good, so she was born February 5th, so had a good, few months with her. So that was amazing. And so it was just a bunch of training and spending time with my daughter.
You lined up at the start of like one of the defensive line drills today on the inside. You had Bosa and I think Ford on the other sides, on the outsides, Kinlaw next to you. It's kind of like a dream package, I would think, if everybody's healthy. Just what's the feeling like with that unit right now, knowing that everybody's kind of getting back healthy this year?
Yeah, super exciting. We have a great unit. Obviously, when everyone's rolling, we're that much stronger. So it's excited to be back out there on the field with them and, get back to playing together and building that camaraderie. I know it's tough, me going through some injuries early in my career, how tough it is to be away from the team and, be on IR and not really feel like you're a part of things. So I'm just excited to have them back out and be around the guys and, continue to build that camaraderie.
Kentavious Street just described Chris Casaric as a teddy bear with spikes. He's like kind of a different personality on the field as you guys do in drills versus in the room. What is that dynamic like?
A teddy bear with spikes? Casaric's a great coach. I say it all the time. I never met someone who loved coaching D-line as much as him. He really loves it. He's passionate about it. And, you feel that. He pours a lot into it, into the players, into his job. You'll love playing for a guy like that.
At the end of last season, you said you weren't super happy or thrilled with where you played last year. When you reflected on the season, what were the things you saw and what were some of your takeaways that you want to work on?
Playing better. It was, I think, a difficult year for everyone. A lot of adversity, I would say, that probably got the best of me. So just working on, my mindset and fine-tuning my skills. I know what I'm capable of. Just got to go out there and do it.
How do you work on something like mindset? What's your approach to that?
You reflect on things. You take a step back, look at how things went, and what you can tweak or change. I think self-reflection and being mindful of not just going through stuff and not really caring, but actually like reflecting on things can change that.
Does becoming a dad have influence on your perspective at all?
Yeah, it's changed my perspective a lot, especially being a girl dad. It's changed my perspective. Love my daughter and love my wife, love my family. So obviously, it's a new element to my life. You guys met me when I was 21 years old. I'm 27, about to be 28 now. So a lot has changed. So it's definitely refreshing, good to be able to go home and just see her do the smallest things, put life into perspective a lot.
How does facing a mobile quarterback in training camp for the first time in a long time help the defense?
It helps. They start doing some, zone read stuff. So we get to, they implemented that with Trey. So we get to practice on that. They hit us on that a couple times. So we'll actually get some looks at it in training camp rather than, it being week 6 and we're playing Kyler Murray and we have to change things to get those looks. So that'll be good for us to get some of those things installed in training camp. How we're going to prepare for that if we do face a mobile guy.
How did the bobblehead thing with the River Cats come about, and what was seeing that like for you?
That was pretty cool. Obviously, everyone knows I'm from Sacramento. River Cats have been a staple in the community for years now, and was able to, do a partnership with them in support of my nonprofit, Armstead Academic Project, and we did a bobblehead night, and unfortunately I wasn't able to be there. Obviously, I'm in training camp, but it was cool to see all my family was there, and I think everyone, had a lot of fun. Got a cool gift to take home, I guess, if they like my bobblehead.
Your organization will be able to do a lot more now that the vaccine's been out and you can do more in-person things for kids.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm gonna have an announcement in a couple weeks about something we're planning. A little premature now, but I'm really excited about what we're going to be able to do this year to help kids with their education in Sacramento. So can't wait for that.
You live in Sacramento?
Mm-hmm.
Does it mean a lot to you to be a leader in that community?
Yeah, for sure. I think, just how I was raised, and just kind of how I think about life, and think about being impactful, and how I will be remembered when it's all said and done. I want to leave society better than when I was born. So I want to have an impact on society, and that starts home for me. If you feel like if you try to do too much, things can get watered down. So I try to stay concentrated on what I do and where I'm from, and help the people there as much as I can. And I feel like I can have a big impact with what God has blessed me with throughout my life, and it would be a disservice to not use that.
This time last year, you were pretty vocal just about the social injustices that were going around the country. So obviously, you have a lot more on your plate. Football, your daughter. Congrats again, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is your plan this year? Like, are you still going to be vocal about it, or how's that going to go?
I'm always vocal about stuff I'm passionate about. I'm always also trying to find new ways to have an impact. So, like I was talking to him about self-reflection and seeing how things went. I think what I did last year had a pretty good impact, but I'm always looking for new creative ways to create change. So, I'm going to plan some things this year on that front. I've actually been working with some cool companies that I just partnered with that are doing some great work in diversity and inclusion, both in the job application space and pay equity space. So I'm excited about that. And we're going to continue to do the work.
Samson is kind of really quickly got a good chemistry going with you all in your group. What have you seen from him so far?
Samson's been great. Obviously him being in the division for a few years now, you've been able to see him when we're playing against him. And so I knew he was going to bring a great element to our D-line, and, it's great playing alongside of him. I think the best thing about us is, we're all different in our own ways, and you got to play against a guy like Samson, then you have to play against a guy like me on the next possession or the next snap. That's difficult. So Samson brings a great element. He's super strong. He's relentless, athletic, and definitely looking forward to playing with him this year and the rest of the guys.
You haven't been in Pats yet, but have you noticed Mike McGlinchey's weight gain, and said he did it to add strength and maybe be a little bit more tough? Do you notice that when you're going against him in practice?
Yeah, for sure. Mike looks great. I think last year with everything going on, it was difficult for guys to, maybe find that routine or stick to what they've been doing to get ready. And so I think, not just Mike, but everyone having, gyms back open and being able to lift and train and do those type of things that you need to do to get prepared has been great for everyone. And Mike's looked great. He's obviously physically he looks a lot bigger than he is. So I think that's going to help him in the long run.
Last one. Maybe we're necessarily comparing Trey Lance to Kyler Murray, but as far as mobile quarterbacks go, Trey's pretty good size. Is there a guy that comes to mind as far as that he's similar in the way either just his build or what he wants?
No one exactly. I mean, when I think of the mobile guys, I mean, Lamar's a different element. Josh Allen, I would say, is more like, you know. I mean, I've seen Trey run over people in college, though, so, you know, who knows? We'll see. But no one in particular. I mean, Trey's his own person. Not going to compare him to anyone. I'm excited to see him play and excited he's on my team.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right. Yep.
People online as well, or is this just everybody? Okay, I wasn't sure.
People are watching all over the world. It's just
All over the world, yeah. The Olympics and this press conference.
Probably the other way around, but yeah. How are things? How are you settling in here?
Good. I know it's always a little different moving to a new place. Got to get used to, a new media room. But it's going well. It's a system I'm comfortable with. I have a really good feel for the offense. I know use a little time in OTAs, get used to kind of how the building works and who the coaches were and how everything kind of operated around here. So was able to hit the ground running for training camp.
Are you finding a lot of similarities or new wrinkles maybe that Kyle's added over the years since you guys have been apart?
Yeah, things have changed. There's a couple different stuff, and so I'm taking notes in meetings and trying to keep up with how things are different or how plays have moved or shifted or changed or wordage or how this O-line will handle stuff. So there's a bit of that adjustment to make, and I think I'm doing a pretty good job of it.
The centers are generally tied to one quarterback. Have you been working with Trey Lance or talking with Trey Lance at all?
Primarily just been with the ones in the team reps, and it's been mostly Jimmy, I think. But we do a couple different quarterback center exchange stuff, and so I'll get a little bit of carryover, but primarily working with Jimmy.
Alex, a lot of veterans, but as long as you have, say, training camp would be as good as, maybe this is not your experience, but training camp would be as good as drudgery or just plain sucks. Is this, coming to a new team, I don't know, does this add, I don't know, excitement, or does it just change the dynamic for you? Or maybe are you challenged in a different way than you have been?
It's a good change-up. I know it's definitely a challenge to have things be different and get to learn a new routine, but it's one that I am accepting of and looking forward to. It is a new offense, it is a new team, a new area, a new town, and so it's a very fresh feeling, and I'm excited for it.
You talked about some of the wrinkles that may have been added in the scheme. One of them we saw today that we haven't seen around here is zone reads or the quarterback running. That's something I can't imagine you've had much experience with in your career, except maybe a little bit in Cleveland.
We've played around with that offense. It's nothing we did a ton of. It was one of those things that we did a little bit with, but never in season have I had a ton of experience with. But it's definitely been in the playbook before, and I have experience doing that.
You guys get a heads up, like going into practice today, like there might be runs incorporated for Trey, even though you guys are on the first string and not.
I mean, they're installing the offense as the offense, so if they want to run that with who they want to run it with, then everybody knows. So it's not necessarily just that. And I think the ones ran the same thing. I just think it was a different call, different read at least.
Do you find yourself, I know it's still early, but do you find yourself going, like, the mental challenge going against Fred Warner? Is that a little bit unique for you in your career, just in terms of a signal calling linebacker you're going against in training camp?
It's easier right now because, like, both of us, both offense and defense, haven't installed everything. I think the challenge will only increase as the defense starts to do more and more, and more blitzes, more fronts, more change up. So I like the chess match aspect of football. That is that about third down blitzes and picking stuff up and communicating that stuff through. That's very much, I think, what you're talking about, and that'll, I think, increase as camp goes on. And especially when we start getting deeper into camp or start game planning a different team, they'll really try to throw more of that at us.
Is that something that you and Fred ever talk about? Just sort of the chess match and like, hey, you did this is why I did this, type of thing?
That will be talked about a little bit. Generally, I try not to do it too much just because you don't get that advantage in a normal game. So usually it's like, all right, this is what you saw, this is what you could do, this is what they can do. It doesn't have to be a two-sided conversation. It can very much be go huddle back into your O-line room corner and to do the same thing.
You've been back around Kyle for a little while now. How is Kyle Shanahan, head coach, maybe different from Kyle Shanahan, offensive coordinator, or is he?
I think he's the same guy. I think he kind of handles the team the same way. I mean, he is the guy in charge now, but he doesn't seem like he's changed at all, and I think that's a good thing. I think that's one of the things that makes him a really great coach is just how direct and real and, what's the word? Relatable. Yeah, I think that's a good one.
You talked about how you're quickly become a leader and you take kind of younger guys under your wing. Is that something you kind of enjoy in the job of being a center?
I do. I think it's definitely, as an older player, you have that responsibility to try to help the younger guys as much as possible. I know when I entered the league, the older guys really helped out, and they've done it way longer and more than I had, and so that their ability to give you tips and talk about stuff was really helpful. And so I really do feel that is my responsibility as now the older veteran to try to help guys where I can.
Who's the one who helped you out when you were a rookie?
I had a really great experience. Hank Fraley was the center in Cleveland before I got drafted, and I got drafted, kind of took his spot, and he was an awesome teammate the whole way through, helped me out, gave me all the help I could ever wish for, and I think it really helped me become a great player. And over the course of the year, he ended up playing guard for a while and I was a center, and it was really great to have him show me what he would be able to see and kind of his ability to see the whole defense, because in college you just don't do it as much. You're not used to trying to watch the whole field and see all the blitzes and rotation and everything else, and so he was one of the people that really helped me do that.
When a team invests a second-round pick in somebody like Aaron Banks and he's not getting, I guess the expectation would be that he would start early on in his career, but when he's in training camp and he's not getting those starting reps, do you reach out to him? Do you have advice for him? And if you did, what advice would that be?
Just keep working hard. I don't think the fact that in day 4 of camp you're not, instantly on the running with the ones really means anything. I think very much will be over the course of all camp. He'll get plenty of reps wherever he does, and just to take it where he can. He's got the talent for sure. I think he just needs to keep working hard, and he'll be a really good player.
If a guy like Banks does start at right guard, and then you consider that Mike has put on a lot of weight, this is going to be a big line as far as size goes, bigger than last year. I know you weren't here last year, but how does that compare to some of the other lines you've been on under Kyle? I know they specialize in outside zone, but do you feel that this line could have a good power component to it with that size?
I think our offense would love to be very dynamic in keeping defenses guessing. Being one-dimensional is not what you really want to do. So the ability to run that outside zone effectively, and then when they start, overrunning, you can run inside zone into that, or you can run gap and kind of power scheme stuff to keep everybody honest and keep them guessing. I think that'll be a good dynamic to the run game. And then you match that all with our play action pass and just drop back, and you should have a very good offense.
Talk about how Hank Fraley helped you. What would be your biggest coaching point 4 days into training camp for Aaron Banks?
To Aaron Banks? I would say the same thing to any rookie in any position, is really to make sure you have a notebook, because you need to take notes, and then make the most of every rep. Don't take anything for granted. Really try to show up with a very open attitude for watching how other people are done, and be critical on how you yourself are doing things. So I tell any rookie to take your reps in walkthrough and work on the things you saw in practice. So in practice, you mess something up, you should take a note of that in meetings, and then in walkthrough, you should work on what you screwed up and want to improve.
I guess it's sorry, I apologize.
We got time for one more. The people want to see, yeah.
We'll get to the Olympics later.
No surprise Trey Lance can run, but we haven't really seen him actually do it, depending on a highlight or whatever. I don't know how much you watch him today, but does it give you an idea, whether it's this season, 2022, what could kind of be possible for the offense with a quarterback like that?
I did not understand the question, I'm sorry.
I guess just seeing, obviously, Trey Lance being able to run. We hadn't really seen it until this practice. There's really a sense of what might be possible with this offense with a quarterback like that, the zone read component and all that.
I think he definitely has a lot of physical gifts that he showed off today. And so if he can, continue to do that, and it's only good for a team to have a lot of really talented people around. So if he's able to be great at throwing the ball and great at running the ball, and gets every read and everything correct, that's a great combo. And I think he's headed on the right path. All right, thank you.